M0FXB. Thought I'd do like a spot the difference type video on these two radios. So you've got the 7300 and the 705 side by side. Now just to give you an idea of the size difference, get you a really good overview there. So you can see that the 7300 is a much larger device. Really not portable at all. I mean, you can, but you know, it's going to take a bit more work. Where the 705, and we've got it in the carry stand, but it's even smaller when it's not in that. And for now, there's just a rubber duck. So the 705 completely portable. Let's see if I can get my hand out of the way. You can carry it. You've got a battery in the back. So because of that, very portable. Yeah, it's only 10 watts with a 13.8 power supply. You've got your DC input. But otherwise, connectivity wise, it has USB. You know, can do all the digi modes. And so just regarding let's start to try and do some comparison when we call this review spot the difference. So, well, the first thing we'll say is the screens are the same size. Now the audio quality, I think, is very similar. It's not identical. So if we turn up the 705, if someone speaks,
I came down the coast as a tropical low and we got about 50-60 millimeters of rain, so that managed to put the fires right on that.
So that's the 705 on D-Star. 7300, we'll just turn up, see if there's any activity.
Bonne journée, je repasse à BCX, je vous écoute tous les deux et puis je vous souhaite de passer une bonne matinée. Je vais aller voir ma cafetière, comment elle se comporte, voir si elle n'a pas de QSB. But,
Now, we could, if we want, I'll put the 705 on the same frequency.
Pour moi, j'ai juste entendu Bogdan, je pense que ça s'adresse à moi, de ce que vous avez dit, je n'en ai aucune idée.
Ouais, c'était pour toi, hein. C'est 4 Charlie Papa Delta Portable Jean-Louis qui parle, Bogdan. Hein. Eh ben écoute, je te souhaite bonne journée, je comprends pas, on t'écoute entre toi.
So you can see they both have excellent audio. If anything, I would say in some ways the 705 sounded better. But they're both very good. The built-in speakers on both these are very good. Now, let's have a look at the microphones. So, with the 705, you get this HM243 microphone. Now I think it's a very good microphone. It has a little clip on the back. The connector is different. The connector's plugging on the side with a 3.5 and a 2.5 millimeter jack. But that's actually quite good, because what you do is when you want the speaker microphone, you just plug them both in, and when you just want one, you take one out. So I actually think that works really well, and it opens up possibilities of experimentation because you've got two separate, easy accessible plugs. So USB connectivity wise, they both the 705 has the micro USB, the 7300 has the on the back it has like what you'd use in a printer cable, so the square type thing. So I will just take the camera around the back of these radios. So it's a bit of a mess here, but so on the back of, you get a view here of the different size difference as well. So on the back you've got the battery. It comes out very easy. It's basically an ICOM 51 battery. And then if you look at the back of the 7300 there, so you can see the different ports. I can't remember what they all are, but you're going to have your speaker out, your amplifier connector. Let's have a look. I can see the PC connector there, like the printer type cable, and the connector for the tuner, PL259, earthing and power lead, and you've got a nice big juicy cooling fan. So it's giving you a really good overview of what these are like, these two radios side by side. Zoom back out. So I actually think the microphone is very good, and the thing about the microphone on the 705 is that it's completely programmable. That's the other thing. You know, like, let's see if you can see it here. If I tune it a bit better. Now I haven't tuned it. Right. Okay, sorry, we're just focusing. So watch, if I push the B button, and if you look at the radio, helps if I actually plug it in. So let's just plug it in. .5mm jack, that is. So if I push the B button, look at the radio, you see the volumes going up and down, and then up with the, at the moment it's on memory channels, so this will be
Okay, alright, yeah. It's a bit of a nightmare the way Windows 10 works the rest. I think Windows 10 it has a
1
few...
Charlie, and the buttons on the mic are completely programmable, so you can basically, they'll do different functions. You have to go in settings for that. So back to the 7300. Let's get the HF antenna back on there. So if you go into the menus, push the menu on both. Very similar setup. It's obviously not identical, but very similar. And then if we hit the function menu, very similar. The difference is that on the 705 you've got the D-Star settings, and you've got built-in Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. So obviously having that is very nice. So let's go up here. There you go. You've got Bluetooth. And wireless LAN. There's your SD card. So these are, you know, some of the very nifty new features. This one has got the latest firmware on, so we've got the new preset menu, which is on menu number 2. And then it's a preset menu here for FT8, and you can choose that, or you can preset your own things. like I said, it's on D star now. If you want DR mode, we just hold down this button here and we go into proper DR mode. There you are, we're in proper DR mode.
So we'll be looking forward to some pretty warm weather. Now things have been pretty good up until recently. We've been clear of COVID.
And it's the full DR mode, so if you select the bottom half, you can change that to different from sections. And at the top there, you can see there are different settings there, CQ, XLX, echo test. Or just at a push of a button, push the sit call button up here, just here. Straight away, you can go in any mode. So tap the screen, and there we are. Straight away, there's no antenna on it at the moment, but we're on HF. So the 7300. If we hit this frequency, there's the frequency selections there. So it's still excellent. You know, we've got 4 meters on here. And, you know, all the HF bands, 6 meters. And it's a lovely looking radio. Now, the thing that we've got with the 7300 is the tuner. So if we turn on the tuner, keep the power low. We're just on a G5RV, and if we hold down the tuner button, straight away we're tuning, and it's the power goes up to 100, and it is 100 watts. So that's probably the main advantage of the 7300 is that the actual passband tuning is very similar. I can't see that there's much difference. You hold down this button, turn that right and left. There's your passband tuning. Now you can get an external tuner for the 705, and it will plug into the jack and can be controlled from the radio just exactly the same way as what I've just demonstrated on the 7300. You can do that, but you need the external, and they're very small. The ones that are selling now, and even the 705 is actually quite big. I'd say the front face of the 705 tuner is probably as big as this as the whole front of the 705 radio. So, but otherwise the layout is very similar. I'll show you the filter. There you go, just like the other one. And if you've got a selector of 3 selectors, you can hold your finger on it, and then you get more settings with that. And so that to me is the same. The scope to me is the same. It doesn't look any. I've got no antenna here, but it looks. The scope to me is the same on both radios. I can't see the difference. Once the 7300 gets its firmware update, you'll be able to do all the scroll type stuff like you can on the 705. Then you've got the clock and the SD card on both radios. Let's try and look across here at the top. Now with the 7300, your filters are selectable on the front screen here. So, for example, there you are. We just turned on the noise reduction, noise blanker, and you've got notch here and preamp. Now you've got all this with the 705 as well. You just on this one you select it in the function menu, and then you've got your, as you can see there, noise blanker, noise reduction, and other functions. Now there is an ability in the 705 to actually change what the Vox button does. So I've got mine set to transmit. So if you just watch it briefly, I'll hit the Vox. See that? It's gone into transmit. So and that's programmable from the settings. And the same goes for the what's it called? The auto tune button here. yeah, it's basically programmable. You can tell it to do something different than it would normally be. So that's that's a cool feature. Now the other thing that the 7300 hasn't got is obviously terminal mode. So that's I think that's quite an important part of an ICOM radio for the future. It's such a shame that they didn't decide to basically make a set like this, like the 7300, with everything the 705 does as well. So you had the 100-watt version and the 10-watt version, but who knows how they're deciding things. So as a user, it's very hard to only want one of these radios, because you want the 100 watts. You want to know that when you want to crank up the power, you can go a bit higher than 10. But saying that, the thing that the 705 does is that because it's only 10 watts QRP radio, I mean, obviously you've suddenly got this ability to go out mobile and try and have excellent contacts with this very sophisticated radio. And it does make you start thinking about your antenna and thinking, well, okay, I need to put some more effort into my antenna. So it does weight that whole side up for you. But they're both fantastic radios. I mean, this video is called Spot the Difference. Well, if you're looking at the front of them, there isn't much difference. Yeah, you've got the bigger volume and squelch buttons here, and it's a wider radio. I'll just show you the width of the radio. If we put the other one on top without dropping it, so have a look there. So it's you can see it's a wider radio. Yeah, and we'll turn it like so. So you can't really help but watch this video and say to yourself, I want them both, but obviously they cost so much. As you can see, I got my rubber duck on there. So it's a very hard thing to decide, because I mean, we've got a lot of new license stations coming in now, and they've got 10 watts. So it's from that angle, from that point of view, if they get the 705, it will do everything, that they'll ever need. But then you've got a lot of existing hams who've got the full power capability. They might go for the 7300, but then again, most hams now are going to be thinking about buying an amplifier. So and you can get amplifiers now with built-in tuners. So I don't know, if I could do it all again, that's probably what I would do. I probably would just get the 705 and then get myself one of those Zygo tuner amplifiers with a built-in SWR and everything and super duper. But now I've got the two, then I'm just going to keep them. Regarding firmware upgrades, they're both very straightforward. They have SD cards. So we'll just give you one last sort of overview of the two. I'll sort of angle it like that, give you like an aerial shot. And yeah, let me know in the comments what you think. They're both fantastic radios. I literally impossible to recommend them both, but what I will say is the one that I use the most easily is the 705, because as you know, most of us spend nearly all of our time just listening. We don't actually transmit that often, and from that point of view, the 705 is more fun. And the stand that I've got here is called the POV stand, POV, and it's come from America, and they're about £130, but it does transform the portability of this set, and I use it a lot more because I've got the handle. Before it was a bit awkward to move it. Now it's not. So yeah, I hope this video helps. 7.3. Catch you on air.